Hello, students. I promised that I would discuss about two questions that the students posted on the discussion board for last week. One thing is that this week, as you all know, I posted also on the discussion board that there is not any discussion due for this week. There is not any grade. However, if you have any questions, you post it on the discussion board for this week. But regarding last week's question, one of the students asked an interesting question, and it was about what option would you choose to become wealthy with an income of $400 per month? We definitely we know that with $400 a month, we if we look at the rent, we look at the expenses, we look at everything, we know that the $400 a month won't be that much of money to live on. However, we want to think about from the student perspective. If a student is has an income of $400 a month, how can that student become wealthy? That's a good question. First of all, I have seen students getting financial aid from the college, and I have seen some of them getting $4,000 after they pay their tuition, and which means the students are getting as much as, let's say, $6,000 of financial aid every semester. That $6,000 every semester, which means that $6,000 for fall, $6,000 for the spring. And out of that, they pay $2,000 to the college for their tuition and fees in the fall, and 2,000 for the spring. And I have seen that checks go to students for the amount of $4,000, $5,000 a semester. That's a lot of interesting. I won't call it a huge amount of money, but it is much more than this $400 a month that we see in here, which means that the concept of the federal government is paying $12,000 a year, federal and state, I'm sorry, because Pell Grant is almost 7,500. State grant is added to that, which is $6,000, $5,000 a year. That gives $1,000 a month to a student who, assuming that the student is not working. And of course, that money has to go for the food, for the car, for the telephone bill, and all those expenses. Therefore, if the student, in addition to that, has $400 to invest, for example, imagine that the $12,000 that goes to the student is living with parents, for example, and does not have as much rent or does not have other expenses. Therefore, the concept of becoming wealthy depends on how much you can, you can save, how much your income is, and how smart you are going to invest, and how serious you are in the investment. Let me give you one example which might surprise you. I came to this class a few weeks ago. I talked with one of the students, and I told her that the college is going to give her some money, $50, and to see, just it was a pilot project, we asked this student to put this 30,000 $50, open an account with a broker. And the student was very open to the idea and said, oh yes, she wanted. And we opened an account for her, and then I sat with her and I showed her one stock, and I said, buy this stock. This student listened to me, and she bought that stock. The value of a stock at the moment, I think it was around $7. And then she went and bought two more, which means she, out of the seven, she spent $21, or $24, to buy three stocks. And guess what? It was 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I told the student, and she listened to my advice. And she invested that. And you know what happened to that stock? It doubled, which means when in period of 2 weeks, from $7, it jumped to $14, which means 100% she had increase in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And guess what? I went and told many students that let's sit down and let's help you and let's open an account with you. I felt many students were not interested. They were not interested to talk about it. They were afraid of the stock market. And then, but this student listened to the advice. Of course, it is very unusual for a stock to double, within, it takes about 20 years, 10 years for the stocks, because the stock market goes up at a rate of 10% a year, not in 2 weeks. That is super, it's a huge expansion and huge increase in the value of the stock, to go within 2 weeks from $7 to $14. Therefore, the reason I say that is that there are a lot of opportunities for the people who are serious about investment, are serious about saving money, are serious about listening to the people who are professionals. And there are a lot of money during our lifetime. There are a lot of money come to our, to our in our way. And many of you have a lot of examples, and I have a lot of examples. We used in this class how we are wasting our money, and I myself, I waste thousands of dollars every year. And let me assure you that you all also waste a lot of money. You put the money in things that are not important and you don't need them. Therefore, those are the areas that we have to learn how to cut back. Also, when we cut back, where do we invest the money? And how do we? Because one student brought a very good question. She said that, she's worried about investing. She doesn't know where to invest and how to invest. Therefore, that is a right question. And therefore, one way to invest properly is to listen what the professionals are saying. We covered a lot of important materials in this course. And therefore, you all will have access to this book. Maybe you won't have access after 2 weeks. You won't have access to the platform of Cengage, but you can put the ISBN number, because you will have, if you are coming back next semester, you will have access to all Cengage books. And these Cengage books, the same book is available. If you put the ISBN number in your Cengage website, you can still have access to the ebook. Go through the chapters. There are a lot of good information out there, and see what it is. Those of you who are taking business finance next semester, I will be teaching that course. In that course, I will encourage you to get the $50 from the foundation, and I will tell you how to open a brokerage account. And we will go from there. That doesn't mean that I am going to tell you buy this stock and suddenly the stock is going to double again in 1 week or 2 weeks. But yeah, we will talk about because we cover stocks, bonds, banks, investment, time value of the money. Those are the interest rates that we talked. And we cover some of those calculators. Therefore, we are going to get through a lot of, smart things in there. We are going to discuss about it. For now, this was my question. This was my answer for the first question here, that how to save money with $400 a month. Definitely, we know that we cannot even live with $400 a month. The expenses are much higher than that. But as I said, all of you, during your lifetime, run into a lot of money that comes to you, but at some point you are going to waste it. Not all of it. You use a lot of it for paying rent, food, insurance, mobile phone, and everything. But a lot of other money, you will get a lot of, money in other ways that you are going to, one way or the other, to waste it. And a lot of things. Suppose we talk the issue of retirement accounts. I can't put as much emphasis on that. that how important it is. This student, in fact, I asked her to open two brokerage accounts, two accounts. One of them is called individual, sometimes we call it brokerage accounts, and one is called retirement account. She put, I think, $20 in her individual account and $30 in the retirement account. The goal was to get this process, get it established and run it, and to show her. My goal was to show her the power of trying to understand the concept of investment. Now the stocks she has bought might drop down, nobody knows. And as I said, it is extremely unusual that one stock within 1 week doubles, but hers, doubled anyhow. I don't want to just give you the name of that stock that you might think that it's going to double again, which might, but, first, you have to be risk averse when you are investing. We will talk about this with those of you who are going to take personal finance next semester. Now, this is another question. How much money should you set aside monthly in a saving account? It all depends on how much you can afford. The more you can put, the better it is. As I said in this course, saving accounts do not give as much interest. Therefore, those of you who want to make good money, who want to have a good retirement, you have to learn about the stock market. You have to learn about investment. Some people know about housing. They can go and, invest in the real estate. But real estate requires a lot of money, a lot of down payment, closing costs, monthly payments, those things. But one easy way is, to invest, to understand the stock market, not to be, not to take a lot of risk, to be risk averse, and to go with what professionals do, and also to study, and also to save. Therefore, and then what type of saving account is recommended? We talked about a lot about CDs. We talked about, mutual funds. We talked about a lot of different investments. And as I said, the book will be available. And we covered all of these, what kind of CDs, how they are paying, what interest rates they are giving, and regular saving accounts. You put your money in, Summit Bank, which is now a Berk and Herbert Bank. It won't give you that much of, interest. Interest will be very low in regular saving account. Therefore, you lose your money when you think that you get 2% annually. That money is not even enough to cover the inflation. When you put $100 and at the end of year you think it has gone to $102 and you made, after 1 year you made $2, but the inflation rate is $3, which means that 3%. When it is 3%, that means in real world your $100 although shows us $102, but because it was 3%, that means it dropped from 100 to 99. But you don't notice it because you only see the nominal value of 102, but you lose your buying power. You all know how expensive things have gone. You go to McDonald's, one Big Mac now is $12, $11, one number one. Therefore, you have to take inflation, and therefore, those of you who are in business finance class next semester, we are going to go again through very important issues, through investment, through how to strategize about retirement accounts, how they can grow, and the interest rates. And we are going to talk about a lot of good things. Therefore, have a good weekend and happy holidays.